welcome everyone to the Product Highlights webinar. We are presenting you the latest features and improvements for the innosabi product idea community and partner. This webinar is recorded and we will send you the recording afterwards via email. And we will also upload it in your innosabi help center so that you can also rewatch it there. And we are your hosts today. It's Danica, Gustav, and me, Katharina, from the Customer Success Management team, and Moritz, co-founder and one of our managing directors at innosabi. And this is what we have planned for today. After a little introduction, we will start with the presentation of the highlights from the latest software updates that are already available for you in your systems. And of course, we will also give you an insight what our developers are working on right now, so what will be soon available for you. And this is followed by Moritz, who's presenting you today the planned roadmap for the upcoming year, so the long-term developments for the innosabi software, the product's idea, community, and partner. And in the end, we invite you again to ask your questions in the Q&A session. And before we start, here are some guidelines for the webinar. Please mute yourself to avoid any background noises while we are presenting. If you have any questions to whatever we're showing to you today, please feel free to place your questions in the question tab. It's the tab with a little question mark icon in the speech bubble here in the system. If you have any more longer questions or we need a bit more explanation to answer your questions, this is what the Q&A session is planned for. And in general, let's be respectful to each other and treat other participants and presenters with respect. So I would say then let's start with the latest highlights. And I know that Gustav has prepared some insights into new toolbox and community functionalities. Gustav, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Katharina. And as you can see, I'm taking over the screen. I am now presenting our demo platform. And yes, it's true that I will speak of what's new on the platform, but in a way, I will also start with what's about to come. Because you see, we are in a transition period of the software when it comes to how you create and fill your platform with content. So up until now, you always had to make a choice, either in the back end or through one of our apps, which type of content you were making. Whether it was a reporting page, a toolbox initiative, or an article, you had to choose the type of topic. Well, now, starting and going forward, you will simply create. And a first step in this direction is now already live on your production platforms, the basic pages. So for some time, while the old app remains, this will be a specified location where you can create any page. So with the help of Creation Assistant and widgets and the flexibility of Toolbox, everything you create will now simply be pages. And this new system even applies to perhaps the most central part of your platform, your homepage. And I'll show you how. Because previously, you set up your homepage in the backend in the homepage builder. And now you will simply navigate to the platform setup. And here you have a brand new feature, select your platform homepage. And here all the pages on your platform are listed and selectable to be your new homepage. And just like that, you have a new homepage set to meet your users. And not only does this give you the option to pick from any page on your platform, it also gives you the flexibility to switch between homepages at your convenience without always having to rebuild in the back end. And one more note on the homepage is that, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are in a transition. And as we're getting rid of the old and in with the new, this is where I want to give you a little heads up, because at some point you will have to select a homepage on your platform. in order to avoid an error. But don't worry, you should get to choose exactly which page, and we are also several months away from this final step. And if you need any support with this, of course, your CSM is here to guide you on this. But here now, we are really pleased that we're already offering this great new option to select any page as your home page. All right, moving on. I want to also follow up on another feature that has already been presented in the past, but recently deployed in its final version. I'm talking about our communities. And communities is a way for your users to connect to specific and relevant subjects and networks of their choice, and to get updated on what's new. And as a reminder, I will go through the basic features of this still very new feature and show you what has been added since the last time. So you go to your settings, and here you have a very prominent navigational item called community. And this is where you control all your communities. So you have a list of existing ones. You can always jump into any one and edit. And of course, you can also create a new community. And to really cover the basics here, you set the normal base settings, like a name, a little description about your community. You choose a suitable image. And then you get to make a very critical choice already, because we have two types of communities on your platform. An open community can be joined by any user, as opposed to a targeted community where you are choosing who belongs to this community. So like in many other instances on the platform, you create user groups as detailed as you wish, and you can also add several of them. And any user that belongs to this user group is then part of your newly created community. So two different ways of creating communities and targeting them. If you have a targeted community, you can even set a community homepage. So speaking of homepage, here again, you have all pages listed, and you can set a suitable page that is then the homepage of the people belonging to this targeted community. Then I also want to show you, what about an open community? How does people join those? And this can be controlled very easily. So we can go into any toolbox page, going back to the front end. So let's take this nice looking initiative page, for example. It looks to be about sustainability, and you want to have people finding this initiative page also be part of a sustainability community. And you go into edit mode, as always, very simple in Toolbox, and you can add a button. So let's add it here just for demo purposing. You probably know from before that you can create a button on your Toolbox pages, and this time you simply go into the settings of the button and you have the option to select it as a join community button type. And of course, you then also have to connect it to a community in question. So in my example, we're going to use the sustainability community. And voila, you have an action button allowing any user on your platform who comes across this page and button to join a community. This text has now changed to manage my communities because I'm already part of this community. Otherwise, it would just say join a community if I wasn't already part of it. So let's follow this button and look where it takes us. It takes us to my profile settings, where under the communities navigation tab, I have an overview of the communities that I'm already a part of. So a nice little overview. And of course, you can always unfollow any irrelevant communities. And here is the final and newly added and perhaps the most key part of communities features, namely the notifications. Because once you're part of a community, the idea is that you want to get updated and notified on any new things. And we are sending out a community digest to all members of a specific community. And the community digest is basically a summary of new happenings around that topic that you're following. Specifically, we are tracking new pages, new comments, and of course, new submissions and ideas within these communities. And this is simply the section where you are in control of the frequency of how often you want to be updated. And of course, there are many advantages with this new system. So manual newsletters sent out by admins is a thing of the past, and everything is just more automated and easy for all your users to follow specific topics and subjects. So that was a little recap of communities. This is live and complete. And if you're not already having this license and are interested, of course, reach out to your CSM and we can guide you from there. Okay, next thing I want to show you is very much relating to what I just spoke about, communities, because we have another new tool in your toolbox, and it's another widget. So let's go back to any toolbox page. This one is a good example. We always recommend that your content on the platform is as human as possible to really show the people behind the great ideas. So in this example, this is a great section. You're showcasing some experts. And previously, you could, of course, add images and text in Toolbox the old-fashioned way, right? So the content is good. But now we're offering a new widget, which makes this process a little bit more intuitive and easy. And I will show you how. So you go into edit mode. And we want to add a new widget. So let's just add it wherever on the page. And this is the new widget, which is live on your platforms that I want to show you. It's called the community widget. And it's very simple. You just add it to any page. You go into the settings. And here you have two simple options. You can add manually any person that you want to display on the page, or you can connect an entire community, which could be relevant in many cases. So for example, we want to show everyone who is involved in the previously mentioned sustainability community, and you simply add it like this. And then of course you have some base settings like how you want to display those users, but it's pulling all of them. And you have now a nice little section added to your page. Yeah, so thank you for listening to that. Very exciting to show you what's new on the platform. And I know that my colleague Danica will now take over and present a little bit what else is coming just around the corner.
Thank you, Gustav. That's right. I think those are some really exciting updates that just went live. And I'm now thrilled to show you a little sneak peek at what's about to come next. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So let's start with something fun. This is called the Quick Poll widget. You can see it here. And with this new widget, you'll be able to feature any option or checkbox question that you have in your system directly to your users on any chosen toolbox page. So you can add them on any page wherever you'd like to. And users can instantly answer, and if you choose, see the results. As you can see here, for example, I can answer this question, and then I can see the results of of all the answers that were already collected. And if that poll question is connected to a topic survey, you can even feature a link that brings you directly to the full survey, and in this way motivate users to answer all questions related to that. So this is a very great way to gather feedback very fast. And whether you're trying to refresh profile attributes, update registration data, or simply make the engagement a little bit more interactive. And the best part of this, of course, is that it's super easy to set up, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So on any toolbox page, as always, you go into the edit mode, and I'm just going to add a third question here. I'm going to choose my quick poll widget. I'm going to open the settings, and then here I simply select the question I want to feature. I can here enter a search, and then I select a question, and then I can decide whether I want to show the results and display the access to the full survey. This question is connected to a topic survey, so it makes perfect sense to add that as well. And voila, I'm already done. This is very quick, very easy to use. Now everybody can join in and answer the questions, see the results, and even click this link and being forwarded to the topic survey. Next up is something that's going to make multitasking on the platform a lot easier, which is our new Launchpad widget that you can see here. So we all know that when you're managing multiple pages across the platform, switching back and forth between them can really slow down your process and lead to some hiccups here now. And the Launchpad widget now brings everything together in one clear view. You can basically consider this as your personal command center where everything is in one view. You can pin the pages that matter most and keep an overview of everything that's important. I can also show you this in action. So if you're in the edit mode and you edit the Launchpad widget, you have the chance of deciding whether you want to show up to 8 items in one row or 2 rows with 16 items, so whatever fits your need best. And every user can now pin the content that's most important for them. So I can just push this little pin icon and then the order is automatically changed. And this icon will always stay here no matter which pages I've visited last. So that's very nice and makes everything super easy and really streamlines the platform usage.
Sounds great. Thank you, Danica.
Sure.
We have heard now a lot about great new toolbox enhancements, which makes totally sense because Toolbox is already the present, but definitely also the future of the administration interface. But I think that we are currently also working on some improvements for our notification and analytical features. Is that right, Danica?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for asking, Kata. So we're definitely also working on other tools and features in the background. Let's talk about something that's going to make communication more immediate, which would be instant notifications. So we all know the profile settings here, and in this profile settings, which wait a second, please. Ooh, I lost my screen. I'm very sorry for that.
No problem.
Here we go again. This should work. It's not working. What's going on? I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it the other way and refresh everything. So basically what we all know, while I'm fixing this, I can already tell you about it. In our profile settings, we have the chance to manage our notification settings. We all know that. It's been like that for a while now. And in the settings, it was always the case that no matter what the role of the users were, they could manage their settings here on how often they'd like to get notifications. And if set up, they could get them up to a few times a day. And now we added a new setting, which you can find down here. And with this new setting, we're actually enabling managers of pages to receive updates on their managed pages instantly. So if you're managing a page and that's going live and being actively used by users, as soon as a submission is being submitted in one of your pages, you instantly get a notification about this when you have activated this little toggle. So it seems like a small change, but it makes a big difference in keeping managers up to date and engaged in real time. And I think that's a very good new feature. And then last but not least, I'd like to share some news on the survey side of our product. So we all know the survey in our product. Thank you, Kata. And we've designed a survey completion tracking. And this was actually developed together with one of our power users, so a customer who's running a lot of surveys on the platform. And this aims on better understanding survey performance. As you can see in the screenshot, we've added new columns to the topic survey expert that show if a survey was completed, when it was completed, and which was the last page that a user has visited. So as you can see here on the screen, the yellow boxes show the respective survey names. So if you have different surveys in a topic, you will see them here listed with a name. In the purple boxes, you have the timestamp of the completion time, and in the black boxes, you have the last page that was opened by the user. And on the right-hand side, you can see that some entries are missing, or it seems like they're missing, but in fact, this means that the survey was either not completed or not even opened by the user. So this will give you an indication of the bouncing rate and makes it possible to track where a user has left the survey. And for all of our Power BI users, we also have some great news. We created a dedicated data point so that you can pull this information directly into your dashboards and track completion and bouncing rates visually. So you have all the data you need in there as well. So this was a quick look on what's to come next, and it's just around the corner. It's going to be a release full of small and practical improvements that's going to make working with our platform easier and faster. But now we get to look even further ahead, and there are some truly amazing things coming in the next chapters of our roadmap. And I couldn't think of a better person to present that than Moritz. So in this case, I would say, Moritz, over to you.
So thank you, Danica, and Gustav and Kata. So for introducing and showing you a couple of new features. There's more around the corner. There's more also that we're planning for maybe this year or start of next year, but also for the long term. And so what we prepared for this year's Connect event was a prototype that kind of ties all of those things together. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody who couldn't attend our Connect this fall can also see what we're working on, what are our thoughts, how is this bigger roadmap going to look like, and can also follow the vision of our of how, where we see the product in 1 or 2 years. So I'm going to jump right over and share my screen. Wait a second. So share. And then you should see a black screen.
Yes, it's beautiful.
In this case, correct. Okay, good. So first thing here, let's give you an intro of what the 3 main parts or main thoughts behind this roadmap are. So the first part is, you've heard it from everywhere, AI is coming, and our idea of AI in our product is always human-centered AI. So we're only going to launch features that make you and your users' lives easier. So that's the idea. We don't see replacement of any of those players on the platform yet. So that is kind of where we're focusing on. So making your life easier, making processes smoother, and automating things that don't need to be manual processes. The second part, and this is also really important for us, is flexibility. So that you can do whatever you want on the platform, and the platform doesn't hold you back on things. And that's really broad. We launched this big project with the Toolbox initiative, but it also goes beyond that part, that you can also, as an example, create different communities, etc., and manage them. And everything is something you can do versus we have to support you with that. So giving this flexibility in your hands and enabling you to design your platform the way you want it to be. And the last focus is really workflows. And this is one really important point for us, because only if we have those workflows in place, you will be able to innovate at the pace that this new world is expecting us to innovate. So nobody's waiting for decisions anymore. Nobody is really being held back by things that are stalling in any of those different statuses, but everything kind of moves on and automatically gets implemented. So the time from idea to implementation really gets squeezed into a very, very short time frame, which gives you the competitive edge compared to other players in your market. So what does this mean in the product? And let's start here with a toolbox page. And what you see in here, this is a survey on a toolbox page. So this is one of our next roadmap items, just right around the corner for us in product to do the requirements analysis, talk to you as a customer, and kind of make the brainstorming phase happen. So that's kind of where we are there. What we definitely have is kind of streamlining the visual part, and we also want to keep the what you see is what you get and drag and drop character that we already have in surveys, but kind of put this onto the next level in Toolbox. Then also integrate the analysis part of the surveys into the front end. So you've seen in the past year, more and more of the back end is stripped away and merges with the front end because we think that it just adds too much complexity to have those two interfaces. So we want to join all of this. And then you can analyze data directly where it is created. And you also see AI moving in here as well, helping you to summarize the results of survey parts, also open questions. It's very, very helpful. So that's the first part. Then going further, so if we go into creation of pages, what we see, and this is already something we're actively working on with our product team and our development team already. So how do we implement this? Is templating for pages. So as an example, I just chose to create a new idea management page. It now gives me a small preview. I can select this. Then I will need to type really, really fast. And let's continue. So this is a creation assistant, which you already have for Toolbox pages, AI assisted as well. It creates a nice title, a nice description for me. It also has the background of this, this template. So it kind of merges the template with the content you provided. Then we choose an image. And then we can already go to that page. And in the background, AI is now going through all of this template and it's filling the content for us. So we don't have to do this initial propagation of content. Of course, we have to review the content. Did it really implement things or phrase the things the way I want them to be? But all of this manual process is now automated for you, and you can go in and then review and optimize. So let's create an idea, and here, of course, we have the submission AI, which is already available for all of you. We see, okay, this is a new idea. Let's make it confidential and submit that idea as well. And we can see here campaigns now happening in Toolbox. This is one really, really big project. We're working on this in development, in active development, since roughly 3 to 4 months now. And we already have parts of it on preview, where we're checking the process and optimizing stuff. It's really, really interesting for me to see all of this happening in real time. And we're bringing more and more of those campaigns online, and then at some point, hopefully later this year, we'll bring a first version of campaigns in Toolbox also into your hands. We have the submissions list already done. We have the timeline view, which is already done as well. So there's lots of components that we're already built, but we need to build a couple things more, and then you can try it out yourself. So that's going to be amazing as well. Let's go in here. Just a small recap. If you haven't tried research intelligence and you're allowed to use AI tools with your innovation content, you should really use it. Because I mean, this is just, if you have smaller things, you want to kind of summarize the status of a campaign, you want to do all those simple things. It just gives you really quick access to results, and works really well with your existing content as well. So try it out. This is some stuff that already exists. Okay, now let's go in settings for this toolbox page. And then we find another point in here, and this is going to be a roadmap item for early next year, which is we want to bring workflow with a what you see is what you get editor together. So you can optimize, tweak smaller parts in the workflow yourself. You don't have to reach out to CSM, but you can manage it yourself. And there's going to be new workflow elements introduced that are also AI supported. So as an example, there is going to be an AI categorizer. So if ideas come in, users don't have to do all this manual categorization, but you can just say, okay, tell the AI, hey, this category means that the idea has this and that specific description, and it automatically pushes it into different categories. So it's really helpful to get this manual process out of the way and streamline your workflow as much as possible. And now the last part, which I've already kind of teasered before, is going to be the new Launchpad. So I've seen it already live. You will see it live, hopefully really soon. We have to tweak some things still, but Launchpad is going to be your new starting point, coming to you within the next month. Right now, you have the dashboard, backend dashboard, and this is going to be replaced by Launchpad. And Launchpad is going to enable you to build your own page, your own dashboard, using, again, Toolbox, and use that as your jump-off point for your admins, your area managers, and other users, so they can explore the different parts of the platform. And what you also see in here teasered is one of the roadmap items we have in the upcoming month, is that we're going to introduce new widgets for reporting. So it's going to be bar chart first, and some other tweaks that we're working on and scoping right now. So, and with this, I'm going to hand it over to questions and Kata.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Moritz, for this super exciting insights for the long-term roadmap. I think we all can't wait for these evolvements. Yeah, then I would also say it's time for questions. Do we have already some questions in the chat written? And if not, this is also the time to our participants. You can also unmute yourself to speak up if you have any questions about the latest new features, what is about to come, if you would like to know more details, what does it look like, what is in your license, what not, I don't know, these kind of questions.
So Katharina, there was one question asking whether the quick pull survey, the quick pull widget can be used in the core license. So you can use that straight away once it's deployed when you already have the survey and competence license, because you will need that to actually be able to create surveys. So that's included, but you will need these licenses first. But
Exactly.
then you can start and use that.
Perfect. Yes. So it makes totally sense, as you mentioned at the beginning. So to motivate the users to fill out additional profile information, for example, to not overload your registration survey at the beginning. You can just, in a playful way, add some more questions directly on the homepage, and then they can just quickly click on it whenever they feel like that.
Exactly.
Great. Do we have any other question? No? No further question? Well, then I would say at this point, many thanks everybody for participating, for your time, for your question. And yeah, these were just highlights from the latest software updates we showed you at the beginning. Of course, there is more. If you would like to see a complete list of all the improvements that were included in the last software updates, you can find them in your innosabi Hub Center in the part changelog. There you have complete list. And of course, if in the next days or weeks or month you have any further questions about what we have shown you, please don't hesitate to reach out to your customer success managers, and we're always happy to answer your questions and to consult you the best way possible, of course. And there's one more thing before we are saying goodbye. We have another webinar prepared for you happening next week with Chiara Fabrizi from RHI Magnesita. So she will give insights how they are using innosabi IDEA internally with their employees for their innovation program in turning challenges into impact, how RHI Magnesita fosters innovation globally with their innovation platform. The webinar takes place next week, Wednesday. It's starting at 4 p.m. Central European Time. You can easily register also via our homepage. If you haven't seen this section yet, when you go to innosabi.com, we have a section called resources there. And there we have events and webinars. And here you can also register for free, of course, as always, for the webinar. But we will also include the link in the follow-up of this webinar so that you don't miss it when you're interested in. Yeah, and then I would say thanks again, everybody, for participating, and have a great day, and see you next time.
See you.
Bye. See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.